Okay, joining us on the Fireball Hotline is a Super Bowl hero and Broncos NFLPA rep, and that is Brandon McManus. Brandon, how are you?
DMac, how you doing?
We're doing all right. How you feeling? How are you doing? How's your health? How are you personally doing?
Oh, thank you for asking. I know Tyler was thinking to ask me that. But,
of course I would, Brandon.
I feel great. I feel great. Thank you. Everything it's been an enjoyable summer. Obviously, it's been different than anything I've experienced before. And my wife and I, we welcomed our third son 2 weeks ago. So
nice.
just
Big
busy
time.
time. I was hoping maybe I was able to stay in the hotel. But I guess I'm going to have to be helping out a little bit more at home. So
everybody happy and healthy, man.
Yes, everybody's great. Thank you.
Awesome.
What's the name?
Oliver. We'll be calling him. I love the name Ollie. So
Ollie. Love it.
Wow, man, 3. That's a big decision, 3.
Three's a good number. Three's a good number.
That's what
we had twin boys. I don't know if you remember. We had twin boys. Shooting for a third. So we got 2 boys and 2 pops. So
nice.
Wonderful.
Nice.
That is awesome.
And how was the leg? I know you got to work out in today. How were you kicking?
Good. No, good. We were able to get in with obviously all the new renegades with Sam Martin and the 2 new snappers. So doing some work to kind of get used to them. It's been a lot of change, I guess, in my world over the first 7 years of my career here. So just I'm used to it. At least getting used to some new people.
Mm-hmm.
Are you? And I don't need the specifics of it, but obviously kicking field goals and distance, you need some space. Has that been difficult? Are you getting on legally someplace, or are you just showing up places and hope that, it's all right to be there?
That's a great question. To be honest, I have no idea. During the heat of everything, the first time we kicked all together, we showed up at a place. It was locked down. I had to schmooze him up a little bit, and he called his managers and stuff like that. And they let us at the Denver Public Schools, in the stadium downtown there. In the Wash Park area right there. And, he just had to go and stay and kind of stay out of the, police's way so that way they didn't see us. But other than that, we've had no issue really kind of going some open fields.
Well, that's good. I just know because of our, in our area, Brandon, it's been hard for my son who's going to be a college athlete just to access the fields. I mean, they've been just like chased off. And we're seeing videos of NFL players working out, and I'm always kind of curious how they're getting away with it. So
they're schmoozing them up, like I said. They're schmoozing the people up.
Right.
All right, NFLPA stuff. Can you talk about the coordinated effort
Tweet storm
over this weekend? How that came to be and the purpose of it?
Yeah, we had been talking about it for a while, and even kind of during the CBA negotiations, there was kind of some talks about stuff like that as well. Some health and safety type stuff that we gave up, I guess, in the CBA. So I think, it had been brewing for a while, but I know Byron Jones was really pushing for it again, us to move it along this time with the coronavirus and stuff like that. So, it had a lot to do with, obviously if I work on stuff, I saw a couple of things come in that maybe the union and the owners had agreed upon, but it had a lot to do with what happens if a player tests positive. And it was kind of almost the owners were kind of leaning towards it was almost the player's fault, not even the fact that they were coming back to work and doing this. And let's say they test positive, during the time that they're at the facility or even practice or during the season, the owners kind of wanted to have the discretion to say, hey, do we want to pay them or do they not? Rather than just saying, hey, he most likely got it working here. If not, he's working for us during this time frame, and we should compensate him for that. So that was one thing with that, as well as the joint committee that our union and our and the owners, joint committee, the owners and the Players Association have doctors on both sides that determined what was the appropriate acclimation period till we actually started football practice. And it was 21 days, and the owners went against all their doctors' orders, and that's why a lot of that Twitter storm, as you call it, yesterday was because, the Players Association was kind of sick of it, the fact that they were just completely disregarding even their doctors' advice and really just trying to shove it up the players' butt.
Well, so with the NFL coming out today and saying that they've agreed to daily testing, what does that do for you guys? I mean, what are the biggest concerns coming out, and what's left? What do you guys really want to see the NFL agree to?
Yeah, so obviously that, I think I just read it. As long as it stays below 5% or something, positive test. But I think it was important because, as you know, just like this country, and even the world, there's a lot of people. They're either all the way up on coronavirus or they're all the way down on it. They're sick of it, or let's keep protecting each other. Mm-hmm. And it's the same way with our players. Some of them are kind of done with it, and some of them are super protective of it. So trying to make everybody happy and trying to meet in the middle. And, daily testing obviously was one of the things that we were pushing because, some people have lives, like you have kids and I have kids, DMac as well.
Yep.
Sometimes if we're playing and we got to go pick our kids up at school, we, interact here, interact there,
right.
And it takes 2 more days till we get tested.
Right.
Well, now we have a chance to infect the other players. And so that's was more of real life type stuff. Obviously, you have some knuckleheads like we always have in the league that will go out to the club and do this and that. And, obviously daily testing helps with that stuff like that as well, because let's say he goes out and parties, and we're able to catch it the next day or in a couple of days when he's got the viral load enough to test positive. Mm-hmm. We're able to catch it right away. Whereas if you don't have that everyday testing, you're going to possibly miss out and potentially, hurt your team in a bad way.
So, okay, now daily testing. How quickly do you understand that you'll get the results back? Because in the real world, it seems to take at least 3 to 5 days.
It's going to be within 24 hours. So let's say we take it in the morning at 7 a.m. or something like that. We'll know by the time that we kind of wake up in the morning and say, hey, you can't report to the facility today.
Okay.
All right, talk to me about money here, because if I'm a player, I guess that's the biggest concern I've got left. If I in the middle of the year I go down with COVID, and some guys might take longer. And what if I got to go on IR? What if they put me down for 14 days? What's happening to our contracts? Where are the discussions on all that, Brandon?
Yeah, well, it's a good question because me, I'm a money guy too, but no, it was a good question because we had a big battle about that because, like I said, they kind of wanted their own discretion, and even their last proposal a couple of days ago said how the player would go on the commissioner's exempt list, and there were some articles about they'd be on there for 3 weeks, which was completely false, but. Their initial proposal, the commissioner's exempt list, where it's kind of almost at the discretion whether you get paid or not. Well, they have, fortunately moved on that, and we'll be leaning towards as long as you're not positive in kind of that beginning window where it kind of show up to camp with a positive test, or kind of within those first days where they say, hey, you contracted it prior to coming there. That's still a little iffy, and they're still trying to iron that stuff out. But during the season, they've kind of got it the fact that if you contracted during the season, I don't know if you're going to have a special IR or something, but you will be getting paid if you miss 1 game, if you miss 2 games, you will receive your game check for that. So that's one thing that obviously was big for us players to make sure we got that. And then another thing that, we're still fighting for and battling about is the fact that what constitutes that a season has almost been played enough. You know what I mean? The fact that if we play 3 games, we play 6 games, we play 8 games, what determines whether a player, let's just say myself, who would be a free agent next year, it's kind of trying to figure out what the threshold about what constitutes like a season played is another big thing that is going to kind of come down to the wire too.
Okay, well, listen, it's a complicated thing, and we want the best for everybody. I am curious about you and the specialists in particular. We always kind of laugh every year that there does seem to be a lot of wasted time that you guys don't even need to be there. Let's be honest, right? Will things be adjusted seriously that you and the specialist can get the work that you need to get in, but you don't need to be there any longer than you need to be there?
I think a lot of players have been dreaming about this opportunity. These guys that see us over there not doing anything, I think, other than during practice, obviously during practice they still get a little jealous, but I think people who will be living somewhat of a specialist life this year, the fact that we're going to have virtual meetings for practice, we go do our workout and stuff like that, and we're going to be heading home.
Good.
So the rookies and stuff will be heading to their hotels and stuff.
Good.
Because, they're just not able to space out in meeting rooms and stuff like that. It's just really not possible. So a lot of people will be kind of heading home, kind of living the specialist lifestyle this year. So we'll see how they feel about it.
Well, you know, I always just thought that made sense, period. So it's not like you don't work. You work as hard as you ever work. It's just not you're wasting time and not good. Brandon, that's a good thing. I mean, there can be some good things that come out of this.
Real quick, confidence level heading into training camp.
My confidence or teams?
Your confidence.
I'll say 95%. I'll leave a little 5% of doubt, but, you know, truly I'm about 99%. But.
You know, Brandon, it was just a couple weeks ago. We were going over, we've been looking at games from last year, and we came across the 65-yarder, man, or 66-yarder, whatever that record would be. And we're like, it wasn't like what we were primarily focused on, but we watched it and we're like, oh, my God. Brandon was so pissed. And we're like, man, you got 1 second.
I mean, it was perfect, wasn't it?
1 second on the clock. I mean, if you're not going to go for it then, when are you ever going to go for it? Seriously.
Make sure you guys take away, when you do the kind of Drew Lock's 5-game review, you kind of take away that 18-yard post route that, you know, we stacked his stat book with. You know?
All right, well, let's hope for a good restart. And, hey, man, I do hope you get that opportunity. And I bet you will. And I know you're going to make it when you get that opportunity. And hopefully it's this year. So, DMac, it's always great to have you on.
Thanks, bud.